What's up, gamers? We are back. We just returned from SCG Con Richmond, and we've got an exciting one for you today. If I can remember to press play, then we have an exciting one for you. All right, so we are jumping into SCG Con Richmond. Was a lot of fun. Got to meet up with a bunch of friends, played a bunch of games. If you guys are paying attention, on Thursday we had the vlog footage go up, so you could be able to check that out. We're going to start releasing videos every Monday and Thursday for the foreseeable future. So we got a lot of awesome games to bring you. But there will always be modern content every Monday, and Thursday is going to be either a bonus modern episode or our secondary stuff like vlog content and things like that. So we've got a cool new deck to show you guys. This is Vengvine Cauldron with a snarling gorehound coming up. It's just a little surveil guy. So we got to be able to see some shenanigans going on. And then we've got kind of a homebrew with snow control here as well. So if you're wondering, these deck lists are up on Moxfield, which there is a link in the description, so you guys can be able to check out what is going on with these decks, because they are unique and cool. The snow control definitely is in the early stages of development and could use some improvements and some adjustments. So if you're looking at it and you're going, why are they not including this? Or what if they included something else in there? Let me know in the comments what you think the snow control should add to it. Where on the other side of things, this is a Vengvine style deck. So the goal is to be able to fill up your graveyard as quick as possible with lovely creatures using things like Citrus Supplier, and hopefully be able to surveil your way in there using that snarling gorehound, which is from that newer set there. I keep saying newer, but it's like 3 sets ago now at this point, right? Sets come out so fast. And then you are able to like help put additional cards in the graveyard like Citrus Supplier by having things like Karen Feeder and these other additional creatures, so you could be able to have sack outlets there. You're also running things like Bloodghast and Vengvine to be able to do some searching. Now, the thing is, this list does have some fetch lands, but surveil lands, basic stuff like that, and Shadow of Doubt is one of the ways to add things in here. But all right, here's the snow aspect of it, right? Jorn, God of Winter. Whenever this attacks, untap each snow permanent. You might have seen this in Commander before and go, why is this in Modern? Well, sometimes people like to brew up silly and fun decks. So, now that our artifact is banned, snow is not really a viable thing in Modern. I say now, it's been years now at this point since our Astrolabe has been banned, but so we're starting to see some sacrifice in here. Of course, Citrus Supplier will get a little bit bigger, get those additional +1 counters, and then Citrus Supplier, of course, goes to the graveyard, so that lets you mill 3 more cards. I know it's a little bit hard. I forgot when I was setting up the camera to adjust it and turn it the correct way, so normally we would be able to have the life totals up at the top. They're on the side today. We're working on getting things all streamlined and smoothed out here. But here's the other powerful card that's in this list, Agatha Soul Cauldron. You are putting +1 counters already on your Karen Feeder, so now you're going to start getting access to additional abilities in your graveyard. Things like Walking Ballista, things like Priest of the Forgotten Gods. So things can get crazy. It's a very fast deck, a very efficient deck. I think it's going to be one that, like, if you study the lines and you understand how it's going to work, you're going to have a much better time. But Jorn here is like at least going to start adding some stuff. Oh yeah, things are going to get worse. Gravecrawlers getting added to the mix here, so that does make it a little bit tough. That, of course, we'll be able to get the surveil triggers, so we can throw things in there. And not doing any blocks here. I guess it's like, you block the Gorehound. I think going into this, it's like, if you've never seen this Vengvine deck, you're also kind of like, okay, what does he got combat tricks? What it like? I guess it doesn't matter. You just sit here and you sack things. Like if you try to block the Karen Feeder here, he just eats 2 things, and then it's got 3 counters on it, and it's a 4/4. So it's like, But yeah, lots of basics to get access to the snow-covered permanents. See what sort of advantages we can get now that we can get a combat. So yeah, it's basically spend all your mana as much as possible. Sheldred's a nice one. Kind of it's this Sultai like mid-rangey pile here. So Sheldred's going to come out, do some stuff. We got some triggers, untapping all the stuff. 3 damage coming across there. So you can kind of see a little bit of what the snow control is trying to do here. And there we go. We're seeing even more of like, let's just always untap. Wilderness Reclamation. I don't know if it's necessary in the deck. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows, right? Maybe it is. But now we're already starting to see, hey, now everything has Karen Feeder's ability that's got the +1 counter. So now things are going to be even tougher with our little shenanigans with the Snarling Corehound. So makes it tough there. No Vengvines coming out yet, but there's the Priest though, which is going to make things like very difficult. So it's of course got the activated ability, but immediately going to throw that into the graveyard using the Karen Feeder, and then be able to start exiling it off of Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So that is a scary thing that can come out later. Basically, you get to sack 2 creatures and then target any number of players, each lose 2 life, and sack a creature, and then you add double black and draw a card. So the sacking a creature is a problem. The drain effect is a problem. You know, you get card advantage off it. So like every bit of text on Priest of the Forgotten Gods is a problem. Yeah, so we're going to see using the Priest of the Forgotten God, sacrifice those 2.
Sacrifice 2 of the creatures,
any number of target players, each lose 2 life, sack a creature, and you add double black and draw a card. So it's like, well, there goes Jorn. And let's hope that Sheldred can stay alive for a little bit. Losing, of course, that drawing causes Sheldred to trigger, dropping down our Vengvine player to 10 life. But the power of the Vengvine deck and the reason players run Vengvine is just the kind of the way that it can turn the corner and just burst down an insane amount of damage. A Lotless Troll here, just kind of additional ways to have counters get placed on things. And, of course, we've got our Snarling Gorehound again. Could have placed it in different orders, like cast it slightly differently, right? You want the Gorehound first and then the Lotless Troll, but it all adds up in the end. By doing it in this order, though, you miss out on that Surveil, but I don't know. It doesn't make a big difference. Maybe not. If he ends up winning, if he ends up losing from it and like missing out on a Vengvine trigger or something that like he draws instead of it, then that's a problem. But there's 4 or 5 Death Touch coming across. Do some blocking, of course, sacking to just kind of absorb. We don't really care. Hey, there it is. Okay, so Lotless Troll, of course, has that benefit of being able to discard cards that you draw. So if you draw into things like Bloodghast, if you draw into Vengvines, you draw into your Gravecrawlers, things like that, you are then able to kind of chuck them into the graveyard. And now this is that explosive turn we were talking about, right? Where you're just like, okay, buffing up Lotless Troll, I now have a bunch of creatures that I can then use with Agatha's Soul Cauldron and Priest of the Forgotten Gods, and be able to make my opponent lose their one creature that they've got left that's been hurting me, and I've got an explosive turn, right? So you're like, okay, this Vengvine, of course, has haste. Grave Crawlers do not, but the whole point is Grave Crawlers fuel. And what do we got here? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it's like, yeah, there's nothing I can do or nothing that can happen here, because with Priest of the Forgotten Gods, it's like a Snow Control dead next turn. So now we're going to jump into game number 2 here. There is no sideboarding that's happening. We always skip over the sideboard. I mean, there is sideboarding. The players do sideboard, but we don't spend our time watching the sideboarding anymore because we're not streaming this live anymore. So we're in that kind of, all right, let's go through and do some discussions. We don't need to. We don't need to fill the airspace with our discussions about what's going on with sideboarding. Let's just kind of get into the action and see what's happening. Fetch Shock, another snarling Gorehound. I want to say Corehound for some reason. Gorehound. I think it's a cool card. Like, I love seeing like design cards like this that are very niche and very specific, that like people are able to kind of go, oh, this just sort of helps make this deck work. It's like an enabler almost of speeding up my ability to throw things into my graveyard. Right? I want to be able to put things like Bloodghast in there. I want to be able to put things like Vengvines. I want to be able to put Gravecrawlers in there. And even later on, I want to be able to put things that have activated abilities like Walking Ballistas, like Priest of the Forgotten Gods, even the Karen Feeders. So, like, it's a pretty strong effect in this specific deck. But yeah, more snow permanents coming out here. There's a Karen Feeder. Surveil through, of course, Walking Ballista, because again, the goal is to be able to exile that with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. We're usually not hard casting it. Maybe in an instance where you're playing against like a Yawgmoth deck or something like that, you might hold on to it and be like, all right, let me ping something here. But for the most part, the way that Yawgmoth works is it's not really relevant and needed to be able to hold on to that Walking Ballista to hard cast it. You really just want to be able to utilize it later once you have a bunch of +1 counters on your Lothless Troll, on your Karen Feeders, that you can be able to kind of go from there. There's a Gravecaller, more Surveil triggers happening. And luckily the deck is just full of zombies, so you will easily be able to cast Gravecrawlers there. Oop, just kidding. The Vengvine Cauldron. You probably saw this if you were around during the early days of Modern Horizons 1, because a lot of people were doing some experimentation with some snow adventures with the Astrolabe and things like that. But since Astrolabe has been banned, because people are worried about 4-color, 5-color decks just being too good, among other things, and now we still have domain decks, and it's Modern is in a very crazy place from the times of some cards have been banned, which is really exciting to see that we're going to be having a no ban list event coming up in July at our LGS to kind of see, hey, Modern Horizons 3 is out, what crazy decks can people brew up and come up with? And so Agatha's Soul Cauldron's trying to get cast and immediately will get countered. One of the things of the kind of snow control here is it's running Counterspell, a playset of it. It's running a playset of Drown in the Loch, so you've got kind of at least counterspells along that, as well as things like Spell Pierce, Force of Negation. So it's got a decent amount of control elements to it. I guess in this instance, blocking the Corehound is probably better in trading there, where it's like Gravecrawler is coming across. Yes, you're going to take 2, but like, the Karen Feeder's a zombie, so you can cast Gravecrawler already. So doing the blocks and trading differently is probably makes more sense. All right, so no one's probably ever seen this card because it's not a good card. I mean, it gives you access to scrying when it enters the battlefield, and whenever you play a snow permanent, you can scry. And if you have 10, guess what? You get to be able to get this big old Merit Lage, but which is a 2020. It's awesome to see. It's an avatar. It's indestructible. It's flying. Getting up to 10 permanents and having the game last that long, not really happening. Maybe if you go all in on this plan and are running things like Explore or these types of effects and just like drawing cards and playing more lands and really just kind of, okay, let's really kind of speed up that process. Like the Vengvine Cauldrons count as snow permanents. Jorn counts as a snow permanent, but it's like the enchantments that are in this list are not that strong. So we'll start doing some sacrificing. Yeah, so we response to the cast. Let's try to shoot stuff. Shoot the Karen Feeder, forcing him to be able to sack. So there's not much additional drawing effects that are happening, with the exception of like Priest of the Forgotten God in the deck. There's the Gravecrawler coming back. But yeah, really, it's like the Snow Control gets access to things like Sheldred, gets access to things like Orcs Bowmasters. Vengvine Cauldron helps draw cards. Jorn's in here. Like the idea and the concept are there for something to start to get created, but it's like in this matchup where it's very fast, very aggressive, you're gonna really need some powerful cards like Dead of Winter or Fatal Pushes or something to really kind of help stop this shenanigans. All right. Bam, bam, bam. Eating another one. Doing some scrying off of the island that enters. I don't know. Have you guys been having fun playing Modern lately? Have you tried any brewing of new decks? Or are you guys just like, well, I found the deck that I like, and I'm going to play it until Modern Horizons 3 comes out and the format gets crazy again? I've been enjoying rotating different ones, but, I have, like, my pile of decks that I rotate between and be like, all right, let's brew some crazy stuff. Okay, that was fun. Let's go back to, let's just play Yawgmoth this week. Let's play Murktide this week. Let's play Death Shadow this week. All right, we tried Rhinos one week. That one could use some tweaking if I do it again. I have Burn, but I never play Burn because as an Infect player, I'm just like anti-Burn. All right, so instead of going with Jorn this time, it's the Cauldron, what is this, Rhymestone here, which you might be like, what the heck are you talking about? So this is the opposite side of Jorn, but this allows players to cast snow permanents from their graveyard, and that permanent enters tap. So if there were lands in the graveyard, you could be able to play those lands. If there are creatures like Vengvine Cauldron, which when it enters, you draw a card, it kind of allows you to be able to do these things. And the fact that it has flash, we can be able to kind of play it on our opponent's turn and then have it untap afterward. But there's the nice little fill up of the graveyard with the Citrus Supplier, more fuel to be able to start throwing up here. Now, things are going to get a little crazy for the Snow Control side of things because it's like you've got one blocker and a lot of setup of stuff. Like not using Jorn, yes, you get the Coatls back, but is that enough to slow things down? We're going to have to wait and see. Ooh, Gravecrawler's coming, which means Vengevine's here. Because when you cast a spell, if it's a second creature spell, you cast this turn, you can return it. It has to be the second. It's very specific on that trigger. All right, so we're getting ready for the burst, the big power. Oh, look at all, so many Gravecrawlers. I mean, that's the power of this type of deck, right? It's very efficient about filling up your graveyard with things, using the Stitcher Supplier and Snarling like Gorehound. Those are like the enablers for the strategy. We keep talking about it, but it's like seeing it in action and just how efficient that it can do that is, the scary part. Is it 3, 7? And then there's like that debate about sending in the Karen feeder here. So just 7 coming across.
We'll jump in front of the Vengvine here and take 3.
Yeah, it looks like the block the Vengvine, taking 3. And then...
we're going to scry first and then do the draw.
So here's the little... There is one in the graveyard right now. So, you know, playing the one from hand, yes, it's untapped. We could have done that and, you know, blocked the Vengvine kind of thing, but not working out so well. So doing a lot of setup right now. We get to scries when of course, snow permanent enters, and then, of course, preordained lets us scry. But we're trying to get to 10 permanents that are snow. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right now. So we're getting closer to setting up for our 2020 Indestructible. But again, we're not running things like Explore and things like that to help put additional lands. So maybe that's the thing the deck needs to help it out.
Trigger. We're going to scry. Or know what it is. We're going to draw it.
I forgot it comes untapped.
Yeah, with
would
this
have attacked with the feeder then.
Alright, so I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right now. In case you're...
And it's your upkeep.
Yes, I believe it. Yeah, upkeep.
Yeah, so it checks on upkeep. Whether we have 10, so we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 now, so 2 away. We at least have a blocker for the death touchness. It's tricky. It's tricky. Oh no, Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Hey, if my goal is to try to get a giant 2020 and all my other things are dead, it's going to not be so great when we have to sack a creature. All right, so it's always right to send Gravecrawlers. It's always right to send Vengvine. Basically, the things that you're like, that's fine. We are expecting them all to get eaten. Oh, see, here's the other thing. It's like we should be blocking the Karen feeder here. Yes, that's, I mean, or do we die otherwise? Let's see, 4. I think we die no matter what, right? Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Interesting.
That's fine.
Yeah, like you're
Trying to see if I want to try. In response to this, I'm just going to sack a Gravecrawler, so you're going to take 2 less.
Okay.
Put a counter on this. It'll die.
All right, specifically throwing some Gravecrawlers in the graveyard because we have cast a Priest of the Forgotten Gods this turn, so we know that our second creature spell of this Gravecrawler will get some triggers, and it will help us to be able to start getting our Vengvines and stuff back. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're down to 7 snow permanents. 8 if we play a land. 9. Feel like there's something here with the snow stuff, but it's just not quite there. If only we had Astrolabe.
So I cast a Gravecrawler. I surveil. That's my hand. This is my graveyard.
Yeah, we had a little fetch, so that's why I was like going down to 15.
I get Witch's Cottage.
Fetching up Witch's Cottage.
And so it enters the battlefield tapped unless I control 3 or more other swamps.
So when Witch's Cottage enters the battlefield untapped, you can put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. So what is he going to put on top?
Haywire Might on top.
Probably, oh, the Haywire Might, obviously, because then guess what he gets to do? Kill the enchantment that we're building towards. Yeah, okay, so no, I changed my mind.
Yes.
The Haywire Might is running around all over the place. It's in Yawgmoth, it's in Tron, it's in Vengvine Cauldron. The snow control is not going to work so well. Yeah, I guess it's like, in this case, yeah, I'm pretty sure it works the way I think it does because, well, okay, it doesn't work. It does work the way that I think it does of being able to flash in Icy Fang Quaddle because it does have flash and using the Rhyme Staff there to be able to cast a snow permanent from your graveyard or play a snow permanent from your graveyard this turn. The problem is if we had a board wipe type effect like Dead of Winter to wipe the board here, everything just gets thrown onto our Karen feeder here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counters go on it, and it would be 6 counters. Karen feeder is a zombie, so you can be able to cast 2 grave crawlers, bring back the Vengevine, and we end up dead no matter what. So we have to be able to try to dig for something else here. Maybe digging for Fatal Push, Drown in the Lock, something to kind of stop the onslaught.
The Vengvine and Ballista.
Yeah, so do a cheeky check.
There's probably a beast in there somewhere.
Yeah, if there's like surgicals or something, that also helps because then you could like strip the grave crawlers and stop the Vengevine from coming back in theory. But in order to do that, Dead of Winter costs 3. All right, still digging, still digging. Trying to look for outs here. And we don't have enough mana for something like Sheldred or anything. Guess you could do like Bowmaster for some blocks. But again, the problem is Karen Feeder is going to eat one of the grave crawlers for sure. There's also Priest of the Forgotten here. All right, there's a push. Let's see how much gets eaten. There's 1 crawler to it, so just 1. Yeah, so we needed the mana to be able to do the push while also having a board wipe like Dead of Winter. But there was a lot of digging we had to do. Like, there's the Might. Oh, Bloodghast too? Oh, no. I don't think we've seen any Bloodghast until now either.
Start with exiling this.
Yeah.
You're gonna gain 2 life. No, I gain 2 life. Sorry.
When Haywire Might dies, you gain 2 life. Pay green, sack it, exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment.
Trigger Vengevine.
There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Gravecrawler, of course, was our second creature, causing Vengevine to come back. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage on board. Can block with the Fang. Only takes 6, but which is fine. Like, that's expected to happen. We take 6, go to 1, and then activate Priest of the Forgotten God. Oh, wait.
Combat.
Just kidding. Here comes I forgot about the Blood Gas. We had a land trigger.
9, 10, 13,
So
The 4/3 guy.
2, 4. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. No matter what.
The land short from being able to do the Dead of Winter.
There's the Dead of Winter. Yeah. So that's like.
Based on the number of snow permanents.
So everything gets minus based on the number of snow permanents.
Still do that.
So that's it's okay. Going through, I wanted to be able to do it, or we had 2, but we were still land short of being able to cast 2 and making sure that everything would die there, even with all the counters that the Karen feeder. Ooh, tough. That's a tough one there. Snow Control, maybe one day it'll be back to being something. But this other deck, the Vengvine deck, is something right now. Vengvine Cauldron. If you're interested in a cool graveyard deck, this one is one to consider because it is relatively cheap. Cheap modern standards, like $700 or something like that. But, fetches and shocks are what really make it expensive. The rest of the lands and the creatures are not that. Agatha's Soul Cauldron, I guess, is expensive. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, Mondays, Thursday, new video coming out. So thanks so much for tuning and watching, and I'll see you all next game.